I'm in the village of Abergynolwyn in a valley a few miles inland from Towyn in North Wales. It's a former quarryman's village, and some of these houses were built for the quarry workers, and of course along with that became also the Welsh chapels were built. This is an example of a business that didn't make it in the past: Riverside Guest House and Cafe. And across there is another old Welsh chapel. Here's the river in question, for the now it's under kind of repair work, the scaffolding up the former Riverside Guest House, and a little bit of water in it. We've had a very dry spring so far, and this is the first cloudy day we've had for over 2 weeks. You can see the village through the trees. I just came up quite a well constructed staircase going up this steep hillside. See, there's the village down there, and I haven't been on this walk before, so it's quite it's a kind of like a described walk. It's in it's kind of on the internet, you might say, as a local walk. So hopefully, I think I shouldn't have any problem. It's beautiful here. Of course, the sun's not out at the moment, so the colour probably won't show. Looks like the sun's threatening to come out. It's very nice here. I don't know if you can see. Well, just across the valley there is the village cemetery. Well, probably no longer used. Walking about 1.5 miles so along this quiet lane to a footpath where I'll turn off. Just past some walkers here, so I'm not alone on this walking route. Okay, I say it's always nice to go to a place that you haven't been before. Fortunately, that 100-foot climb I made from the river at the beginning of the walk, I've kind of lost now. I'm back down more or less to the river, which means it adds to the ascent that I'll be shortly be making up a hillside. Okay, this is where the quiet lane visits the secondary road. The sun's coming out, but I've just noticed here's another nice parking spot here, which alternative to parking in the village. Okay, this is where I turn off now and start climbing uphill. Up here, and let's see how well trodden this footpath is. Yeah, goes up there somewhere. Okay, this is going to be warm work, warm work, because the sun looks like it's going to come out. So this, as I say, is a ascent up this hillside. I think it's about 400 feet. So it's just one step at a time for the likes of me. So yeah, I think I've regained that 100 feet I lost descending down the lane, and it seems to be a fairly well trodden path, so I shouldn't have any problem. There's another gate up there. Nice little quiet campsite down there if you want peace and quiet. And there's the scenery. Excellent all round. Probably getting on for nearly 200 feet from when I started this walk. So I'm maybe not quite halfway up on this particular ascent. But it's one nice thing about it. It's certainly a nice footpath. No problem there. Okay, I've reached this track after climbing up this steep but quite nice footpath. Yeah, zigzag up the hillside. So here I'm on a track, so possibly this won't be so steep because 4x4s will come up here. Great scenery though. I've just come up from that valley there. It looks like I've reached the top of this particular climb. That's what I was looking for. Confirmation that I'm on the Mary Jones long distance footpath. It's a waymarked footpath from the little village where she was born, which I'll shortly be visiting, and all the way to Bala. So more on Mary Jones a little bit later on. Possibly there'll be some information down in the little village. Now ahead of me are the lowest slopes of leading up to Cadi Idris, the mighty Cadi Idris. It's you can walk up from the valley. Well, I'm descending into now. There is a footpath that goes up to the summit from this side. But it's the least popular of the ascent routes of Cadi Idris, but I like it. I have walked it once before, and it's quite a long walk, but quite enjoyable. Nothing wrong so far with this footpath. Of course, having been such a dry spring, you don't get bothered with too many boggy patches. Okay, continuing the descent down into this valley, where I hope to visit Mary Jones. Well, that's where Mary Jones was born, in the little village below, and she was born towards the end of the 18th century. And of course everyone back then was dirt poor. But nevertheless, over 6 years, when she was still a child, she managed to save up enough money to buy a Bible from a vicar in Bala, the town of Bala. I think it's roughly about 30 miles away. But she had to walk there. There was no public transport in those days. So after 6 years of saving up, she walked barefooted to buy a Bible from this vicar, and by doing so, became something of a legend in this area of Wales. By the way, congratulations to Hiker Sheep and Bobo, a YouTuber who I've mentioned in the last couple of videos I've made. She successfully completed the Cambrian walks she started in Cardiff, and now she finished just recently in the town of Conwy Castle, the finishing point. Another Mary Jones marker just there on that stile, and there's an old abandoned cottage there. Now, if I'd did this walk in the opposite direction, it might have been easier, but it's not as steep an ascent coming up this way from below. Okay, so I've been going for a little while. Of course, easy walking, or well, some people would say easy trail, Bobo. But so if I find a place to have a break, short break, I will. But of course the one problem with this walk is I think it's roughly about 6 miles long, and maybe a total of 1,000 feet of ascent. There's no little pubs or cafes. I doubt very much whether there will be anything down in the little village. It's kind of off the beaten track. As you can see, if I'd ascended from this in the opposite direction going up there, it's quite an easy ascent up to the top there of the pass. Not the big mountain at the back, but that little pass there, and then a fairly steep descent down to the adjoining valley. The two sections of this footpath are certainly on the boggy side, but no problem now because, as I say, it's been a very dry spring. But would be a problem if I had a wet spring. And I've just seen that's Bird Rock over there, a well-known local landmark, Bird Rock. I've been to the top of it once, and down there is the first sighting of the chapel. Yeah, that's it there. First sight in the chapel that Mary Jones attended, you might say religiously, and studied the Bible. Okay, I'm near the valley floor here, so I'll have a break as soon as I see a suitable spot. So I've taken the wrong turn somewhere, so I'm going to have to retrace the steps unless I can find a way through to get over that fence there. Meanwhile, I'll have a break in this old ruin of a building here. Retrace my steps to this point, 200-300 yards back. And this is where a footpath sign, now I presume that's the correct way down there. I can see some kind of a gate down there, but maybe that's... So coming this way, there seems to be some kind of a trodden footpath down there. I'm not sure if that's the right one though. But it's the obvious place for a footpath. Okay. All part of the adventure. I'm on the correct footpath. Somehow I missed it, so I came down there a shortcut, which obviously other people have taken the wrong way. Lots of them, I think, before me. So okay, so hopefully no problems from now on. To the authorities, don't bother putting footpath signs in where the footpath's obvious. Put the signs in where the footpath isn't particularly obvious. Okay, I'm back down to, you might call, civilization. First habitation I've seen for some while. Okay, here's the old church. It's open, according to the notice. Okay, there's a little exhibition centre here, and this is the inside of the actual church. I don't know anything about it, but I'll look it up when I get back. And this is the exhibition room. So I won't read, but that's a good setup there, showing the route that Mary Jones took when she walked barefoot at the age of 14, all the way from this little well, hamlet, you can call it, to is that no, which way's which? Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's a well constructed. Yeah, I think that must where we. Yeah, where she started, that end of the, yeah. So, well, I can't quite see, there's not, well, there are little stickers there, but you need pretty good eyesight to read them. Alright, so, Mary Jane's Walk, yeah, it's an actual walk, and the Mary Jones Bible. Alright, so I won't read any of this, but it's well, in Welsh and English, of course. Yeah, so she, now there is an actual museum, quite an elaborate museum in Bala, Mary Jones, oops, okay, yeah, you got to move around maybe, or go through the doorway. Hey, the light turns off. Oh, this is an old roof here. I don't know if you can see. I'll just see if the light goes back on. The sensor just outside the entrance to this room. It turns the light on. Yeah, so what's this here? Is this okay, Mary Jones Cottage. Actually, it's in Bryn Crigg. Bryn Crigg. Okay, so yeah, so she's not buried here, and her home's not here. But this is the chapel. I think she kind of worshipped in. Alright, so I'll, there's the vicar, I think, handing the Bible to, let's say you can all, this is on, I'll look it up and put some more information maybe on the, because there's quite a, yeah, okay, bit of history to it. As I say, back in those days everyone was dirt poor, and a farthing and a halfpenny accounted. First aid. Alright, or the cleaning material. I'll I'm not sure if this is still a working church. Yeah, very quiet little hamlet. This is all it is a hamlet. There's the church. And up there the hills leading up to the Cadi Idris. A good ascent from here. Alright, so the next stop on this little walk, well, I think I'm over halfway around the walk, but the next stop is a visit to what remains of an old Norman castle, a little bit further down the road. I'd say I've been here before, but a long time ago. Probably 30 years ago was the last time I was here. And I climbed Cadi Idris I may have parked in that car park back there and climbed Cadi Idris. I don't know, well, I must have come down the same way. Can't really remember. There's a little bit of history on the castle. Castle Aber. That's what it may have looked like back in its day. And so I'll go for a quick. I have been here before. There's a nice bridge. Huh. Yeah, look at that. Look at that backdrop there. Surrounded by mountains. Hope my energy holds up, because going around this castle, I wish I'd been before and got on video. That's about another half a mile to the length of the walk, I think. So the castle's somewhere in there. I won't stay here long, because as I say, I got this on video before. I came here a number of years ago now. Maybe 7 years, 8 years ago. Yeah, just a quick visit. That looks like the well holding the water. That looks like the top of the castle, topmost point. So I'll go up to there and retrace my steps. There's more to this castle than I'm showing, but there's the bird rock again. I say I'm kind of a bit worried about, well, I'd like a refreshment stop, but there's no refreshment stops available in this area. So there's fantastic scenery around here. Great. So this castle was built by Llywelyn, one of the Welsh princes, and then it was eventually taken over by the Norman invaders, and then abandoned by the Norman invaders because of unrelenting hostility from the locals. It wasn't worth holding on to it. Extensive fortification, and it would be worth spending a bit more time here exploring all the little nooks and crannies. Beautiful valley and location here. Okay, I'm going to cross this bridge here and hopefully there'll be a footpath off to the left leading back to Abergynolwyn. I'm sure if I pronounced that right. I'm on the last stretch of this walk. So far so good, but luckily you can see how boggy it can get after a wet spring, which we haven't had. So the footpath follows this river now up this valley to Abergynolwyn. On the whole, this has been an excellent walk. As I think I'm on the last stretch now, and the temperatures have been in the low. Air temperatures have been in the low 60s, and the sun has been out most of the time. When I came this way, I was thinking of taking a slightly shorter and easier walk on the lane back to Abergynolwyn, but this is much more pleasant. This footpath alongside the river. There's no footpath, but there is a little bit of uphill work. There's the lane just across there, and it goes uphill. The lane also goes uphill, and okay, so there's a bit of uphill work, but not much. Okay, look at that impressive looking mountainside up there. Actually, it only goes up about 700 feet, but it looks twice that high. 700 feet above where I'm standing, that is. Okay, I just checked the map. And I think I'm just about a mile from the refreshment stop in Abergynolwyn. Well, actually, maybe a little under a mile to where I parked my car. Okay, very nice hillside footpath here. Yeah, look at that hideaway home there in this beautiful surroundings. And there's the first sighting of the village of Abergynolwyn. So not far now. Okay, I'm coming to the end of this walk. My car is probably probably less than a couple of 100 yards away. My car is just parked maybe 100 yards down there on the side of the road. Just point out this though, this property's for sale. Capel Jerusalem, quite a substantial chapel. Yeah, look at that, solidly constructed buildings. Alright, end of our video, thanks for watching. Here's a little information board giving some walks, local walks. There's Abergynolwyn, you are here. And I just came down that valley there, I think. But these, of course, are shorter walks. Alright, so that pub over there is open, so I think I'll just have a cup of tea and a scone if one's available. The Railway Inn. The inside of this old pub, probably a quarryman's pub. It's called the Railway Inn. Alright. And of course they probably have walkers come in here because yeah, so that's the walkers. Went along that lane, up over that pass, and then down into Landing Angel, Pennant. And then there's the Castle Dilborough. And I came up to I couldn't see the Standing Stone, but then I came along that footpath there back to, well, there's the railway pub right there. Now I'm wondering whether to go up to Abergynolwyn station. It's a fairly short walk. I'll see how I feel. Outside the pub having a refreshment stop. £4, and that's, I'm still waiting the crusty bread with butter to arrive. So look at that. That's not, you know you're away from a tourist area where they give you, well, you pay nearly £4 for just for a cup of lukewarm coffee in a plastic cup. This pub is recommended, I think. Very good. Okay, the cafe is only open from 10 till 2, but I went to the pub instead for that cup of tea, an excellent cup of tea, and a piece of crust, well crusted bread, excellently done. Recommended, the Railway Inn, Abergynolwyn. It's a good example of the houses that were constructed, well constructed, back in the Victorian times for the quarry workers to live in. There's a big quarry up here somewhere. Hopefully I'm going the right way. I just wanted, well, it's a half-hour round trip up to the little railway station that runs up from Towyn. Friendly little village at Abergynolwyn. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but now this is a bit of a little steep ascent. This is extra. I didn't know how much energy I had left to do this little walk at the end of the. Well, I've decided to do it anyway, so I don't know when I'll be back here again. So go up to look at the little railway station, which is the end of the line. I think I've already mentioned that. The little railway line, which is now a tourist line, popular tourist line, Towyn Railway, runs up from Towyn and ends here. And off that steep tarmac lane, which is leads up to nowhere, it's a dead end. Code Abergynolwyn. There's no signs saying the railway station, so hopefully, but look how well trodden this is. But again, it's off season. Okay, I better put the camera away. The local dog walker. And I think this very well trodden path here is for people that come up on the train from Towyn, the day trippers. And this is a nice little, they leave the train, which is up here somewhere, another quarter of a mile maybe. Look at that nice little waterfall down there. And they come down here and have a pint at the Railway Inn, and then return back to the station to catch the return train. So, directions from the railway visitors to Abergynolwyn, well, I don't know how to pronounce Abergynolwyn village, and it's all they done. Code Mount Gwernol. There's a nice bridge. Okay, so there's the waterfalls there, right there. That's worth coming up just for those alone. And of course that's after, they must be quite impressive after a wet spring and heavy rain. Of course these nice manicured footpaths are laid on for the day trippers. Here it is. Oops, there's another. Yeah, the road must not be used as a footpath. Okay, so there's Stations Link, 1 mile. That way, Quarryman's Trail, well, 2.5 hours. Cascade Trail, 1 mile. You continue up the valley. It's all laid on, so you can come up by train from Towyn, and you've got a choice of walks, or you can go down to the village and have a pint. There's information on walks from the station. That's what the trains look like. Alright, so that's when it was a working railway. There's the workers. And Mount Gwernol. I'll just finish off that crusty piece of bread I made something for the dog and put it in my pocket. So it's 10 or 15 minutes walk now back down to the car, and then I'll call it a day and go back to where I live. And there's the buffers at the end of the line. And an excellent day. Yeah, the trains come up here about 3 times a day during the week, and 4 times a day on the weekend. Okay, I'll finish up this video here. This was an added-on part of the video. It's not included in the well, it's added to the total distance and ascent I've done during the walk, but it's not included on the OS map of the walk.